3rd of April 25, it's Sunday, and I was just looking at this question because I wondered what way funerals will go in the future in the UK, because I'm guessing that most will be humanist, although maybe religious will become quite big again. But anyway, for Christian funerals, I think I'll go right down. I don't know. And then, but religion might go back up. But I was also wondering, the wider implications and that. But so I just asked this question to Grok, and I just asked it to, well, first of all, I asked it how many are just now. Really, they don't know, but they're estimating maybe 10 to 15% of funerals in the UK, particularly in England, where secularism is more pronounced. So, creations dominate UK funerals at 78% in 2023. And many humanist ceremonies align with these. So I was just trying to see, and it says regional variations exist with higher uptake in areas like Scotland and the North East, where celebrants report a surge in demand for humanist funerals, I guess. So at the moment it's saying that humanist funerals likely represent 10 to 20% of UK funerals. I suppose they can't really tell. Maybe there are official figures. Well, there probably are somewhere. But what you find, I find anyway, governments, a lot of stats, either they don't tell us or they actually don't know. There's a lot of things, like if somebody's, I think, I'll go on about it some other day. With the figure leaning toward the lower end due to the persistence of traditional religious services. Yeah, because a church service can cost you like, I don't know, £2,000 or something, and that's not including the funeral itself. So, I was just looking at this and asked it to predict the percent for the next 10 years and make it a list. So, with growth driven by increasing secularism, that's not broadly though, across the whole British citizenship though, is it really? There is one bit that's grown, well, one or two that are maybe grown very religious. Over 50% of the UK population identifies as non-religious. I mean, truthfully, I think it's probably 80%, but some still put in the census. Well, Christian anyway. Among those who are Christians, I'm guessing it's possibly almost 100% already. But so Humanist UK and industry reports Sun Life's Cost of Dying 2025 highlight a decline in religious funerals and a rise in non-religious options, including humanist ceremonies. However, growth may be tempered by competition from other non-religious formats. Yeah, because I thought humanist meant the whole lot, but it doesn't. Direct cremations, and this turns out to be where the person just doesn't have a ceremony. They just directly get cremated like David Bowie did. I'll probably do that as well. Or family-led funerals, that's where the family are doing their own thing. And cultural preferences for traditional or hybrid services. So here's an estimate. So this is just blue sky estimating 2025, 12 to 18%. Continued growth as secularism rises and awareness of humanist options increased. Then next year 13 to 19%. More funeral directors offer humanist services, supported by events like Dying Matters Awareness Week. 27, 14 to 20%. Younger generations, e.g. 16 to 24-year-olds, who show openness to alternative funerals drive demand. But I'm presuming they're not going to need it for a long time now. 28, 15 to 21%. Sustainability trends boost humanist funerals, often paired with eco-friendly options like woodland burials. And apparently there's going to be a trend towards liquid funerals where you're just disappear into nothing really. I don't know what they're doing it with, alkaline or acid, but basically you're just going to vanish, and that's going to probably become the norm, and as in the type of way your body is dealt with. 29, 16 to 22%. So technology, e.g. live stream ceremonies, makes humanist funerals more accessible, especially post-pandemic. 2030, because I've heard of two people having a humanist funeral, and one was 80, and I think they were both in their 80s. No, the other one was maybe in their 70s, which was a surprise to me. And the one in their 70s was like 15 years ago, so it was a surprise to me that that generation were already starting to do that. You know, I would imagine people under 70 now, certainly under 60, would be interested in the humanist, because most of us really are atheists, really, you know, being honest. A lot of that generation still went to church, whereas nowadays, I would imagine, I'll maybe ask that at the end. So 2030, 17 to 23%. Cultural shifts solidify, with humanist funerals becoming a mainstream choice in urban areas. They're just making this up, but it sounds really rational, really. 2031, I see AI search engines as God, really, you know. They're my gods. At the moment, nice ones. 2031, 18 to 24%. Increased training of humanist celebrants via Humanist UK meets rising demand. So they're really just putting up a percent every year, really, aren't they? 2032, economic pressures favour cost-effective humanist ceremonies over traditional funerals. Average cost 4.8k, a lot of that will be the church, versus 1 to 10k for humanist. 2033, 20 to 26%. Regional growth, particularly in Scotland and the North East, continues to outpace other areas. 34, 21 to 27%. Personalisation trends, bespoke coffins, multimedia tributes align with humanist values, pushing adoption. 2035, say 28% max. Stabilisation as humanist funerals reach a significant but not dominant share, competing with other non-religious formats. So I thought I was talking about all non-religious, but I didn't know the word for it, really. These estimates assume a gradual increase of 1 to 2% annually. So, but they're really just guessing, but I'll probably turn out right, I think. Then I tried predict UK funerals by belief over the next 10 years. Make it a list. So, looking at that, Christian 50 to 55% at the moment in 2025. Still dominant, but declining as older generations pass and secularism grows. Yeah, Christian, they totally hit. Apart from a new type, new variations, possibly. Not the old traditional one. Protestant, Catholic, yeah. Other religions, 15 to 18% stable, driven by Muslim and Hindu funerals, with cultural traditions persisting. Humanist, 12 to 18%, growing due to secular demand and personalised ceremonies. Other non-religious, 12 to 15%, so I didn't realise this would be so big, including direct cremations and bespoke secular services, gaining traction for cost savings. So they do this for all years. I'll just look at 35 this time. Twenty 35, they reckon 35% maximum for Christian, now a clear minority, overtaken by combined non-religious categories. Other religious, 15 to 18%, so I think it's going to stay that same, but I think that's unlikely, really. It would mean a lot of this group would be becoming atheists, but it's not really looking that way, is it? Resilient due to cultural and community ties. Humanist, so this is the one. 28% max, plateaus as a major non-religious option, competing with other secular formats. Other non-religious, 25% max. So those two would be 53%. And this one dominates in cost-sensitive and secular regions, with direct cremations nearing 35%. How can that near 35% if it's included in other, and they would all be 25? I don't know. These projections assume a steady secularization trend, 1 to 2% annual decline in Christian funerals, stable minority religious practices, and growth in humanist and other non-religious funerals. So, uncertainties include economic shifts and technical innovations, etc. What's a direct cremation? I just asked that because I wasn't sure. I thought it meant this. It's a no-frills funeral option where the body is cremated shortly after death, like David Bowie, without a formal ceremony, viewing or attendees. It possibly his close family were there, I don't know. It typically involves minimal involvement from a funeral director, covering only the essentials, collection of the body, a basic coffin, and the cremation itself. Families can later arrange a separate memorial or scatter ashes as they choose. In the UK, it's the cheapest funeral option, often costing 1 to 2k compared to 4.8k for a traditional funeral. That's what Sun Life's 2025 cost of dying report said. So yeah, and it accounts at the moment for 20% of UK funerals, so that was a surprise to me, because I've not actually heard of anyone wanting that myself. With projections suggesting growth to 30 to 35% by 2035 due to cost pressures and changing attitudes. And then I just asked her what the meaning of secular was, because I thought it meant all religions and atheism. But actually, what it means is the institutions and government operate independently of religious influence. So I didn't know that. I thought it meant all religions and atheism, where it was, so it wasn't really taking a religion, but ensuring no religion is favoured or embedded in state affairs. This means laws, policies and public services are not based on religious doctrines, and citizens are free to practice any religion or none without state interference or preference. Key features include separation of religion and state, freedom of belief, neutrality. So examples include France. The UK's secular nature is evident in its legal system and growing non-religious population. Apparently it was 53% in England and Wales in the 2021 census. I'll ask you what it is in Scotland. So it was 51.1%, including myself, in the 2022 census. And that's up from 36.7 in 2011. But that's actually just people being honest, because I know myself, I just used to put my religion, Christian or whatever, whereas really I've not been in church for a long, long time and I don't believe in it at all. So yeah, so just being honest. I think if people are non-religious, they should definitely say in the census, but because by saying we're a religious nation, it means all religions, you know. So I think it's better to be honest and say, well, I'm not religious anyway, at all, really. Especially if you don't believe in it, because what's the difference between that and Harry Potter? I mean, everyone laughs at the moment that people put their Star Wars religion, Star Wars, but what's the difference between that and religions? Because at the moment we've still to take religion serious. So if you don't believe in it, you've got to be honest, I think. I just wanted to look at age groups for humanist cremations as well. Well, it's came back for Scotland. Yeah, let's see. Well, no, this is telling me about the non-religious people. Scotland. Younger age groups, over 60% of those under 50 versus 28.6% of those over 65. So that's non-religious. So 60% of under 50s. Well, and then it's telling me about the funerals. So let's see. Let's see. 16 to 24, 65% are highly secular. 65.6 were non-religious in Scotland in 2022. And doesn't really say the percent there. So we'll just go by this anyway, this is interesting. 25 to 39, 55 to 60% of Scots are strongly non-religious. Well, 63.2% in 2022. So 40 to 54-year-olds, 60.1% are non-religious. So among those groups, it's really the same, almost. Still in the 60s. 55 to 64, 50.8% are non-religious, so that's a big drop. And I wonder if most of them are the ones over 60, because really, religion was still quite a big thing on a Sunday, not that long ago. 65 plus, well, here we go. 28.6 are non-religious. So, I mean, that's shocking to me, really, how high it is, in a way. So, and then I was trying to estimate. So, and it's actually estimating every year. So, let's see 2020, 35 then, just to look. So it reckons in 2035, 70-75% of 16 to 24-year-olds will want a non-religious funeral. Yeah, well, I can believe it, really. 25 to 39-year-olds, this is Scotland, 65 to 70%. 40 to 54-year-olds, 60 to 65%. 55 to 64-year-olds, 50 to 55% will be non-religious. And 65 plus 35 to 40% will be non-religious. Yeah, so there you go. Hope that's of interest to you. Yeah, that's all I've got to say at that moment. I could do more, but these estimates reflect a gradual but clear shift towards non-religious funerals, with younger age groups leading the trend and older groups following more slowly. Okay, with that I say goodbye.